At last, the current will they won't they global game is over. The Federal Reserve will raise interest rates on Wednesday, or so say investors anyway, who have now fully priced in a quarter-point rise. But for emerging markets, particularly in Asia, any such move will only prompt another question. Namely, which matters more for 2017, the Fed or China? Emerging Asia just suffered its worst month of outflows since the taper tantrum of 2013. A net 22 billion fled the region's stock and bond markets in November. This Trump tantrum, if you like, was the result of investors pricing in higher US rates on the expectation the president-elect's infrastructure spending plans will lift inflation. After a year where links between US rates and local markets had weakened, leaving Asia to more or less trade on its relative merits for once, this apparent recoupling has come as a sharp shock. The Fed risk is based on the US curbing inflation with an unexpectedly speedy series of rate rises, hitting Asian borrowers hard. Sharp rises in US yields, 10-year treasuries hit 2-year highs on Monday, have already listed their Asian equivalents. Higher rates in the US would also limit the attraction of EM assets, whose currencies tend to gain only slightly from net inflows, but weaken sharply when the money moves out. China's role depends on its currency and its economy. In spite of Beijing's slow and steady approach, a sharp weakening of the renminbi remains one of emerging Asia's biggest fears, as that would risk denting rivals' export competitiveness at a single blow, as well as destabilizing global markets. China's economic growth too is unpredictable as it tries to balance expansion with its efforts to streamline inefficient industries. Expect any weakness to show up first in its neighbours' export and commodity sectors. The risks posed by China are more alarming but less measurable than the actions of the Fed. Expect to see China fears cited in moments of market mayhem, but the actions of the Fed to play a larger role in everyday emerging Asia. And this will start on Wednesday, when the will they won't they game begins all over again, as investors attempt to gauge just how hawkish the US central bank will actually be.